Hello everybody, welcome back to another video of Prehistoric Speculation, where today I'm making a video that's a little bit different, but I think it's a video I want to make. So, basically, up until last week, we didn't have enough information about Jurassic Evolution 2, basically. All we really had was a couple species field guides, and maybe a dev diary and the cinematic trailer. That was about it. We're not really seeing any real gameplay, and we sort of scrounging around for scraps, as we saw from that German article where everyone analysed the UI on that for about a week after it came out. But as of last week, we've had huge amounts of information revealed. Best in Slot and the Gaming Beaver and some other dinosaur YouTubers have had the opportunity to play about an hour of Jurassic Evolution 2, so we are starting to get a feel for what the game will be like. And with all this new information, I thought I might try and make my own sort of opinion on Jurassic Evolution 2, which I am turning into video form for your lovely ears. So, yeah, basically, let's get into it pretty much. Before I do though, could you please remember to subscribe? That would be greatly appreciated, so if you could do that, thank you very much. So, firstly, let's talk about the main thing that the game is, basically. Dinosaurs. This is a dinosaur park builder game. Dinosaurs come first, and I feel like a lot of people are more interested in the park building design and all that, the new stuff to do with the game mechanics, which I am more excited for that as well, but the dinosaurs are a key aspect to the game, and I do want to explore that. It's what a lot of people are excited about, is what I'm excited about. So yeah, let's get into that first. The most important thing, actually the second most important thing maybe, because the second thing is probably a bit more important, is the improved animations and the smoothness of like the interactions between dinosaurs. As we've seen in the gameplay and a few of the species field guides, the new dinosaur socialization and fighting and hunting is all much more advanced. We've heard the Frontier devs talking about how T-Rex will be able to dynamically take on a pack of velociraptors and all of that sort of stuff. We've seen velociraptors chasing down a stegosaurus. We've seen some incredible interactions between dinosaurs. Yeah, it's all looking really good. It's just a step up. It just adds realism to the dinosaurs instead of just making them walking about robots basically as they were in the first game at launch anyway, where they didn't even sleep and they had the cult circles where they would discuss who they were going to next sacrifice. But yeah, it's just all looking very cool, and yeah, I like it. The probably actually most important thing to do with the dinosaurs is the addition of aquatic and flying reptiles. This is something that was really wanted in the first game, but wasn't able to be added due to the limitations of the game engine that the first game ran on. But because this has been upgraded to, I believe it's the Cobra engine, which is what runs Zoo Tycoon and all of their newer games at Frontier, because it's been upgraded to that, it's given them the ability to add actual dynamic flying and aquatic reptiles, because we did eventually get the Pteranodon in the first game in the Return to Jurassic Park DLC, but that was on a set animation and it wasn't very limited. But now we have full unique animations. They can escape, they have all the same behaviours an actual dinosaur does, which is really awesome to see. We've had a lot of the new species revealed for this. Up until about a week ago, we only know about 3, the Dimorphodon, the Pteranodon, and the Mosasaurus. Now we have the Geosturbenia, which I've learned to pronounce, the Tropognathus, the Ichthyosaurus, the Plesiosaurus, the Atombosaurus, yeah, it's just great. We have the Pterodactylus as well. I think that's all of the new ones. But yeah, we've really added to that list, and to see them in the game is really awesome. All of the gameplay we've seen for the Plesiosaurus and Mosasaurus is all looking very cool. The fact that the Pteranodons can go and hunt guests is just awesome. And yeah, I really like them. Mosasaurus, for me, with the Pteranodons, they can escape and attack guests, but with the aquatic creatures, what do they do when they escape? Because we know that when dinosaurs try to escape now, if they don't have a high enough rating, we're not going to have a Dryosaurus breaking out of a concrete wall fence. It will just injure itself. And is the Mosasaurus only going to be able to do that? Because it can't really escape from a lagoon, can it? Because it can't just swim about on land, whereas a Pteranodon can just fly through the air. Mosasaurus has no way to get to dinosaurs, whether it just lunges out of the water and grabs at guests or something like that, maybe. But I don't really know. Maybe it can cause a flood if it breaks the lagoon wall and it floods the area. Maybe it can do something like that. But it seems like the aquatics are probably much more limited than the aviary creatures, which again isn't a terrible thing, but it would be nice to see some maybe extra behaviours in the water just to boost that behavioural thing up. We have seen an incredibly cool animation of the Mosasaurus attacking a Plesiosaurus though, or not attacking really, devouring a Plesiosaurus. So we do know that these will be able to fight, they'll be able to interact, they'll be able to do stuff together. With the Ichthyosaurus, I expect to see some dolphin-like behaviour, some calls to each other, some diving out of the water, some playfulness. All that would be really nice to see. One of the things I've been a bit disappointed with the dinosaurs is the fact that they do interact with each other, but we haven't really got any. In Planet Zoo, we have interactable items like a scratching post or something like that. We haven't seen any of that. Maybe it could still be coming, but I feel like we'd have seen it by now, and the fact we haven't sort of makes me think it's not in the game. So it'd be nice to have toys or something that they can interact with to make them seem more playful and more real, even more than what they've been so far. But it's something that I could really live without if I had to. Some of the dinosaurs have been given a slight remodel as well. The Allosaurus has been given a slight remodel. The Baryonyx has got a slight, not as slight, but it's much better than the first game, I must say. So they've had a slight remodels to some of the existing dinosaurs. All of the new dinosaurs I'm really happy with. The Chinzalsaurus, the Coelophysis, all of that. The Amargasaurus is great. All of the models for the aquatic and flying creatures I quite like, other than the Pterodactylus, which has a crest for some reason. But, you know, fine, I'm alright with that. It's creative liberty, they did it with the Deinonychus. I think it's something we can expect. All the dinosaurs' hands are properly rotated now, which is never something I really noticed, but Paleo Twitter definitely did. So nice that that's been changed. So yeah, with the dinosaurs, I'm quite happy with it. We've had a lot of the stuff that we wanted in the first game. It's still not going to be as in-depth as something like Planet Zoo, where they can do climbing frames and all that sort of stuff, but we're still pretty close with it, I think. Now, moving on to the new decorations and the new management we have over the appearance of our park, because this has been given quite an overhaul, I must say. So, first of all, we have new biomes. We have, from what I think the 4 new biomes will be, we have seen the deciduous woodland, which is sort of like England's weather sort of thing, oak trees, all of that sort of stuff. We've seen that in the new gameplay trailer. We have the, not tundra, but the sort of alpine forest sort of thing, which we saw in the announcement trailer for the game, and we have the desert, which we've also seen fairly early on. The 4th, I do assume, will be the tropical, given that we've already, the tropical is so entrenched in the Jurassic World franchise, and we've already had it in the first game, so it makes sense for it to be in this game too. So yeah, I expect to see tropical, desert, tundra, and deciduous. So yeah, it's really cool that we now have so many more options. With all of those different options, we now have multiple different tree and fern types and all of that sort of stuff. So we have like low grass, we have different types of trees that we can place, all that sort of stuff. Each area will have different rocks that we can place too, and the rocks are now rotatable in multiple dimensions instead of just the one. So that's nice, you can rotate them up, down, left, right, whatever you want to do. So that's really cool. And yeah, it's much better than the first game. It's still not, again, Planet Zoo sort of levels or anything like that, which I'm fine with because it's a console game and it's really finicky to play with those sort of controls and that sort of building on console, as I've tried with the Planet Coaster thing. I'm a console player, but with the Planet Coaster console edition, it's really impossible basically to do the modular building and the piece by piece sort of stuff they do. So that it is coming out on console, it's coming out on PS5, PS4, Xbox, all of that sort of stuff on November 9th. And yeah, because it's coming out on console, it's been adapted for console, and I'm fine with that. We have more options than we had in the first game, other than just 1 or 2 brushes, shrubs and trees. We have 6 different types of fern and tree sort of thing per biome, I think, and there's 4 biomes. That's already 24, if I'm any good at maths. I am good at maths. So yeah, that's 24 different things straight off the bat, and there's over about 24 different types of rocks. There's also loads of placeable signs now. You can place stuff on paths, which is awesome. Paths were such a pain to place around in the first game, but now there's sort of things like signs, there's tables, there's like umbrellas, all that sort of stuff, which is really cool. Makes your main street and all that look much more interesting. Now, moving on to Main Street, we can now also customize the look of our amenity buildings, such as you can customize the shape, the color, what the building sells, all of that sort of stuff. There is stuff you can do inside the building, but we'll move on to the game mechanics in a minute. But yeah, it's nice that you can really customize your Jurassic World, or Jurassic Park, depending on what you're playing. But yeah, you can color code your thing if you wanted to. If you wanted to have a whole red street, you can save the colors. And the amount of color variety you have is awesome, because it's all done by color wheel. So you can literally have any color there is. It's not like there's 5 set colors. You can have every single color. And the same thing with the colours, there are multiple colour options for the dinosaurs as well. There's skins and there's patterns and there's all that for them. And you can combine them, so you've probably got more like 30 different skins or whatever for the dinosaurs, something more like that than the 6 we got in the first game. So, to do with the skins of stuff, basically, to be fair, I did just forget to say it in the dinosaur section. But yeah, with all of that, it's much more, you have much more control over your stuff. Now, in the campaign mode, we also do get different appearances for the viewing gallery and stuff. because you're not in Jurassic World, like the park anymore, you're doing stuff like by the government in Canada. So you have Canada buildings, the fences have like the Canadian wildlife and forest protection signs on them, and everything looks different, which is again really cool. It helps you get into the vibe of the area you're going to be in and doing that part of the campaign in. So I expect to see something like that with the desert and that, as we have seen with the caged aviary. I assume there'll be like different variants of everything over there. I think we've seen a few of them in the dev diary, I think, anyway. But yeah, it's all looking great. The new buildings and all that stuff, it's just looking insane. But yeah, it's, again, a lot of people I know would want much more customization. But for me, I've never really been one of those piece-by-piece players anyway. I'm not really very good at Minecraft, so, you know, not really got that going for me. It's never something I've really been with, and because it's on console as well, I do think I'm glad that they left that out, and it's more selective, like, categories instead of just piece by piece, like Planet Zoo or Prehistoric Kingdom style, which isn't coming to console, which I think is actually a good thing, because on console it just won't work. So yeah, I sort of understand why they've done that, and I'm sort of glad they've done it, but I know a lot of people would have preferred much more customization. I do also wish that you could place decorations under the water. I don't know if that's something we've seen yet, but maybe in the lagoon would be quite nice to be able to see some rock placement and maybe some kelp or something like that too. That would also be really cool. The water, I don't know if the game has ray tracing, but there definitely has been just an overall graphical improvement. The game does look much better than it did before, which, you know, is a great thing. And it's also because it's on the next-gen console too. It's on the PS5 and Xbox Series X. Because it's on those, it will have the graphical upgrade, which I like. I'll be able to play with that. I have a PS5, so glad. But yeah, all of that's looking really cool. All of the new decorations looking really cool. Now, let's move on to the new gameplay mechanics we'll be getting. We've only seen a few so far, but the ones we have seen so far have been very cool. Now, the major one, the main thing that's going to differentiate this from the first game and add a whole new layer of complexity, is the scientist system. The scientist system just adds a whole new thing. You'll hire scientists, and these scientists are what you use to complete jobs. You need to, like, assign scientists with a certain number of points and skills to different jobs. So maybe you need 4 logistics and 5 genetics points to hatch a dinosaur. You'll have to assign enough scientists to do that onto your thing. They'll also get burnt out over time, and you'll have to keep up with the paying for them, which also makes the money much harder to come by because you're paying for their wages, making the game, I think, a lot more balanced, because in the first game, money was way too easy to come by. Once you reached 2 stars, money was no longer an issue, basically. But yeah, the scientist system, from what I've seen in Best in Slots gameplay and that sort of stuff, that's the only guy I've watched so far of it anyway, because it was 2 hours worth of content, to be fair, so I don't really need to watch much more. But I've seen all the clips on Reddit and stuff like that anyway. But yeah, it really does add a whole new layer of complexity, and there's a lot more thinking that is like needed to be able to get this park up and running. With everything you do now will require these scientists, so they're really going to be an essential part of your park. We also have a slightly upgraded guest system, in the fact that you'll have 4 different categories of guests, like luxury, standard, nature liking, and thrill guest. I think are like the 4 different types, and you'll have to balance out the needs between them. So if you see one of the groups is really dipping and you're not getting many thrill guests, maybe it's time to bring a T-Rex into your park and just get that a bit higher up. Which, yeah, I like. It's a bit more complexity, it's not too radical or anything, but yeah, that's quite nice. And it also adds a whole new thing to the shops, where you'll add modules to the shop. So when you place a shop, you now place a large amenity, and then you have to choose what that becomes, and then you choose the outside. And you can also place different modules inside, like an aquarium or a selfie spot or something like that. Each one will cater to a different type of guest. So you can just... if you really want your park to be thrill-orientated or something, you would place things that would that would help thrill guests, basically. So I don't know what that would be. Maybe, I don't know what thing you'd have in a restaurant that would be thrilling. But you'd add stuff that would get that boosting up, and you can have a park that's full of roller coaster lovers or something like that, or T-Rex lovers, as it would be in Jurassic World. But yeah, that's really cool to me that you can get different things. However, again, the guest system with like the personality, they do still feel very robotic from what I've seen. All the gameplay that we've had so far is developmental, and it's from a few months ago anyway. It's not like the most up-to-date developmental build either, even though it is still in development. This is from probably more June sort of time when the game was announced, because Beston's lot played it about a month ago, I think, so it would have been quite old. But yeah, we were limited to what we could see, but guests in Planet Zoo and stuff, you can click on a guest and see what their thoughts on your park are and that sort of thing. We don't seem to have that with this. We also don't seem to have something like a staff requirement for shops, which I guess is okay. I could live with that, but, you know, that'd be a nice thing to have as well. But sometimes I think that does get a bit too much. I have played Planet Coaster before on console. I don't have a PC. And I must say, it is a bit overwhelming to have all of these new staff you need to keep up with. I would like a bin or a resting requirement for guests or something like that guests will be unhappy if they don't have a bin or something to do and the path gets dirty. This isn't really anything insane. We've seen this in JPOG, so it's not a revolutionary new thing, and it's a bit weird we haven't already seen it. But hopefully we do get that along the way to release. We see some more stuff. Obviously, I think there's definitely more stuff to be shown before the game comes out, so these probably aren't all of the mechanics. There's definitely a few more park management guides to be made, which today's one was about the guest mechanics. It probably won't be coming out today, but as you know, the Wednesday one was about guest mechanics and sort of stuff. So yeah, the game mechanics, I think, it's still very much a Jurassic World Evolution game, as Beston's lot would have said. It's not anything, it's not switched gears and turned into a park builder, like hardcore park builder like Planet Zoo or something like that. It is still very much Jurassic World Evolution. So if you didn't like that, you might not like this. I think it's addressing a lot of the issues from the first game. It adds a lot more depth with the scientist system, but it does still play, from what I've seen, very much like Jurassic World Evolution, which I love. I loved the first game. I'm ashamed to say I probably have over 1,000 hours on it or something close to, and I haven't even finished all the challenge modes. But yeah, so I'm sort of hyped about it because I do really like Jurassic World Evolution. But I know there's a lot of people who prefer the proper park builders and that sort of thing, which I think they will be happy with this, but still disappointed that it's not gone all of the way. But for those of us who do like Jurassic World Evolution, I think all of the new additions will be welcomed, and so far, nothing I've seen has been detrimental to the game. Everything has been an addition, and it really is building on the foundations of Jurassic World Evolution 1, which I think it should do. There should be nothing that it loses from it, as it is just Jurassic World evolved, basically. So yeah, it's all really nice to see. The Chaos Theory mode as well, we haven't seen anything of how it works, but it's seeming and sounding really awesome. We saw the San Diego arena, which was really nice, and it sort of shows us that we're definitely going to be going back to what-if scenarios, sort of like the new Marvel TV show, which, from what I've seen, isn't very good, but you know, hopefully this is better. So yeah, like on Reddit I saw a thing with some scenario ideas, and some of them were really cool, like you were just taking over as the Masrani Foundation, and you'd go back to Jurassic Park 3, and you'd help clear up all the dinosaurs and move them to a new facility, getting ready to build up for a new park or something like that. Which is a really cool idea, and I really like a lot of the stuff they put forward, and there's some incredibly cool things they could do with this. And I'm just really excited to see some more of that. Hopefully we get some gameplay for that in the next couple, or we will get it. We'll get the game in the next couple months, but in the next few weeks we should get some gameplay for that. But yeah, I'm really excited for this game, man. You know, when the announcement trailer came out, I thought, you know what, I'm just so excited for this, I may as well start a YouTube channel. It combines sort of my like of making videos with my love for this game. I've tried doing a channel before, but none of the content I did really, it was never really my favourite thing, but this Jurassic World Evolution 2 really was. It's one of the things that is really my favourite thing. It's not very popular, so it's one of the things I like for it. With Marvel movies, you like Marvel movies because they're popular, but I love Jurassic World Evolution, and I like Jurassic World franchise, and Jurassic World Evolution 2 really seems like a great addition to the game, or to the franchise. So yeah, I'm just really excited for it, and anyway, yeah, that is it. So, thank you for watching, I really hope you enjoyed. If you have, please leave a like and subscribe. Maybe there will be some links in the description, you might want to go follow those. But yeah, so, thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next video.